Ready. There we go. Sorry, I was in the mood, and who can't, for all you young bucks, man, maybe you guys don't know who Bush is, but that was, shoot, I don't even know when that song came out. I want to say I was probably in middle school or high school when that song came out, but I remember when that song came out. So for all you guys who are my age, you'll appreciate a little Bush. And I think somewhere in between those two Bush songs was Tool. So yeah, that's part of my rock band Spotify playlist. So sometimes when I want to jam out, I'll just jam out in the office with that. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody has had a good weekend and a good start to the trading week. So far, honestly, I haven't really done much as far as trading, but I will be looking for some really, really good moves this week. Last week was pretty damn phenomenal. Yeah, Kevin, great choice. Yeah, man. I'm hoping you were talking about Bush, but yeah. Glycerin was a man. Damn. Yeah, it was. That was a good song. You know, I had to poke through. I was looking to see what was on the playlist there, and quickly I saw it towards the middle there, so I jumped on it. Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into it. Listen, start of the week, news on the calendar is going to be some pretty good stuff. I'm really going to be focusing on some Australian pairs because of their jobs reports coming out. And of course, we're going to be curious to see what these people are going to be saying here. We do have some FOMC minutes going to be released tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to be everything I've been reading on. It's going to be projecting what their outlook is. I spoke about last month FOMC. I was really expecting a quarter point basis increase, and we didn't get that. However, they're talking about a 0.5% increase potentially this FOMC. So we'll find out. This is going to the meeting minutes is pretty much what they actually spoke to as a collective, right? All of the governors and chairmen of the individual Federal Reserve banks talking about what they're going to be doing to try to stave off some of this glorious, and I mean very glorious, inflation that the United States is really going through. I think we're at a 25 year high. And if you keep up on my Twitter feed, I've actually been picking up a little bit on social media only because of my middle teenage daughter who is very active on it. So I've kind of given her a little job to help me out with it. And I've been running every time I come across just one more Build Back Better greatness, I have to post about it. So if you guys were watching it this weekend, it was went to a fancy restaurant. Let me tell you, it was a bar, and they were charging chicken wings at market price. I've never gone and bought chicken wings at market price. I bought stone crab, I bought lobster, I bought some, really nice fish, but never have I bought chicken wings at market price. So, it's pretty crazy to think what we're going at, and just at least my local supermarkets and stuff, we're seeing toothpaste this weekend at Wally World. Walmart was completely out of toothpaste at my Walmart. Believe me, if you could believe that. Cat litter, cat food is really starting to lose ground. So I don't know what they're going to be doing, but it ain't great. So where it's all going to stem back into what these guys are going to be talking about. Somehow the dollar, I still think, is going to remain strong. So we'll kind of break into that. We'll look at the US dollar as well. One thing I will point out, hopefully you guys have been really paying attention to what's going on with the news. But I don't know if you saw that Justin Trudeau, those of you guys up in good old Canada, I don't know if you saw what he just passed, right? I'm just going to type in Canada because I'm pretty sure it's going to pop up right there. Let's see. I've been packaging a lot of cat food at Amazon. Have you? Dude, let me tell you, man, dude, I'm not kidding. Like cat litter. I don't know how I turned into the local zoo, but we have now 5 cats in our house, which we've never had cats before in our life. But, we go through a lot of cat litter, and yeah, man, I can't find any cat litter. So here it is right here, the Freedom Convoy and the emergency powers that have just been passed by Canada's government. Trudeau I was watching the press conference and I couldn't believe what I was actually watching. But in a nutshell here, I'm just going to click on this. And if you guys haven't watched this, I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to show the headline. But you really need to pay attention to what some of these governments are doing. And in my opinion, oh, my bad. There you go. In my opinion, this has to be the craziest. I mean, if I was living in the 1930s and 40s, I would think that this would be the early stages of what communism, what Nazism was kind of projecting, how they are starting to really weed out a lot of the different economic and social economical population. But essentially what he's done is, because people are protesting and because truckers don't want to get mandated to be vaccinated, they have invoked emergency powers, which means that they are going to be seizing assets from banks who are funding, and it's not the bank that's funding, it's people that are donating their money for these truckers. They're going to be seizing those assets without a court order, without a search warrant, without any kind of judicial mandate. And that, to me, has got to be I mean, I don't know. Like, I'll tell you right now, I mean, I know it's happening just north of the border for me, but if that happened in my state where I live, if that happened in the state of Texas, if that happened in some of these, the state of Ohio, North Carolina, I'll tell you right now that there will be huge uproars. And I mean, if they think like what happened at, January 6th at the Capitol was any kind of on stage to that, I mean, I think it would be even worse. I think it'd be more deadlier. I think it'd be more chaotic. But I mean, the fact that they are going to be seizing assets they don't seize assets from drug dealers and drug lords. Okay. I mean, I don't understand how that's even possible. I mean, listen, I mean, most of you guys know my background. Listen, I was in law enforcement. I worked the drug trade. I worked undercover for a while. I did that stuff. Right. And the fact that the amount of work and the amount of no's that I got from judges to simply just pull a simple cell phone record, and now without any kind of judicial review, without any kind of checks or balance, there is going to be complete and utter government control of your financial proceeds that are being donated. And it's not even like it's these guys' money. It's donations from the public. So whatever, I'm going to get off the soapbox. But when I saw this, I swear, I thought to myself, you know what, let me go to my garage just in case. Let me start cleaning out my guns. Let me just start oiling them down, making sure the magazines are topped off, because if we need to go north to the border to help out Canada, we need to do it. Because that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Italy has taken the same, really? Well, I'll tell you what, man, some of those European countries have really surprised. I mean, I'll tell you what, not that they've surprised me. It's just how quickly they have catered and bent the knee, because that's really what they're doing, right? They're bending the knee to the only population apparently that matters, right? And it's ridiculous. If you really want something to look at, can we send? Well, and that's where, Sean, bro, you said it right there, man. That's where I think the crypto market is going to really emerge victorious in all of this, because yeah, you know what? They can try to seize all the crypto they want, man. But the U.S. Justice Department just seized a tremendous amount of Bitcoin, right, from a heist that happened almost 10 years ago. That's how long it took them to finally track it down and seize it. So they can do whatever the heck they want. But this is the whole point of decentralized banking and financial institutions. This is why I've really, over the last 2-3 years, I've really started to dive deeper into crypto. That's why I've started to dive into some of these projects like Flux, the DeFi space in general. I mean, yeah, I can't believe it, man. This is just ridiculous. Anyone been watching what's happening in Australia, New Zealand. So, I mean, have they? So I heard rumors, Tim, that they are I guess not reducing, but they're laxing on the restrictions, or have they stepped it up? Because I know it was complete martial law over there. I saw, I saw a news report that someone was doing in some park. I don't remember what park, but it was in Australia. And I guess it was in one of the major cities where it was really, really like just complete and utter martial law. He had a mask on and he goes to take a sip of coffee or maybe like a sip of water, something like that. And a police officer comes up and arrests them right then and there for doing that. And it was live on TV. And I know from New Zealand standpoint, and again, this is just keeping up with current events. I know from New Zealand standpoint, if you haven't watched it, I know it's everywhere. Watch the New Zealand's prime minister's press conference, not press conference, but it was like a one-on-one with one of the big news outlets. And she pretty much flat out said, when asked, because it was prompted to her, they asked her if what her, I guess, not laws, but what her stance is it going to divide and have two classes? Is New Zealand's stance to segregate and make a vaccinated population and a non-vaccinated population, and the vaccinated population will have special rights and privileges, and the non-vaxxed have no rights and no privileges? And she flat out said, yes. And I couldn't believe I just heard that come out of a governmental leader, not only a governmental leader, but a country's leader. And I couldn't believe that. So some mandate restrictions are being slowly pulled back, but it's smoke and mirrors. I'm sure it is, man. I'm sure it's also, it's just to ease it's to ease the momentary momentum that I think people are finally getting to the point where they're like, screw this. I'm taking my country back, because that's honestly what's going to have to come to it. Now, let me ask you this, because Tim, you live in Australia, right? Okay. So let me ask you this. In Australia, because I know New Zealand doesn't, but in Australia, do you have the right to bear arms like we do in the United States here? Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Give me a sec. I'll do it right here. Let me find you. There you go. You should be good now.
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah. What's up, man?
We don't have the right to bear arms like you do in the US. You can still purchase and apply for a firearm, but the restrictions are still quite heavy. They're not necessarily enforced unless they need to be. But for example, like you can't get a semi-automatic rifle like you guys can without a military or a Cat C type of license. Can you bear arms? You can, but it's a process, and they can just as easily walk into your house not walk into your house, but they can just as easily make a court order to have them removed, or you can have I think it's a PBO against you, and you can never touch them again.
I love it, bro. I love it. What a flipping mess, man. Yeah.
When the restrictions first rolled through, all of a sudden you couldn't make a PTA, which is a permit to acquire. So you couldn't apply for one of those to get a firearm, and you couldn't purchase ammo either.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I can tell you. So just so you guys can understand where I live, hold on. Florida, firearm permits. I just want to show you, like, this is the state I live in. And this is why I love living in this state. Just so you guys have an idea, let's see. I want to see if they show any results. Let me just do it like this. For Florida firearm permits, all-time high. Because it was some ridiculous number in like 2020 and then 2021. So December 11th, 2020, concealed weapon license applications hit all-time high. Demand for concealed carry permits surges in Florida. I think it was, here we go, historic gun sales in Florida. 1 million gun license background checks marks the first time. So where I live in the state of Florida, we just like Texas, just like some of these other states, we love the right to bear arms. We understand the reason behind it. And I mean, sure do we have, there are still some restrictions, but I can tell you there's a reason why like my state is nowhere. And listen, I live in a very big metropolitan area, right? I live I mean, I'm a stone's throw away from the city of Miami. I'm a stone's throw away from the city of Fort Lauderdale. I'm just on the outskirts of it. And, when you look at some of these places like Chicago, San Francisco, New York, well, New York's not so bad, believe it or not, but Chicago, Baltimore, these are very like anti-gun municipalities that are like Chicago has the strictest gun laws in the United States, yet they are, them in Baltimore are the highest crime for gun violence. Imagine that. So, yeah, well, listen, you guys that live out there in California, that's your own fault, man. You can. Arizona has an open carry law. There's a lot of states. Texas has an open carry law. Believe it or not, Florida, most people don't know this, but Florida has an open carry. You just have to be doing certain activities. So if you're actively hunting, fishing, camping, right, you can carry open. And I kid you not, you could just Google on Florida, like Florida assault rifle at like fishing pier. Guys would go down to the fishing pier in the city of Miami with AR-15s, with M4s, with sniper rifles slung over their shoulder. And as a police officer, I'd get called to that all the time. And I tell the person calling, I go, ma'am, it's their constitutional right to be carrying that firearm, and if you don't, I mean, honestly, like people get scared by it, then leave. You know what I mean? Like if I go to a scary movie and it's scary and I don't like it, I'm going to leave, so it's it's your right to do that. So in the state of Florida, absolutely. And listen, to be actively hunting in the state of Florida, all you need to do is buy a truck, put a gun rack in the back of the truck, put your rifle in the truck, drive around anywhere in Florida. And if you see a wild animal, you can do it. So yeah, well, Julio, there you go. And in Hialeah, you can carry freaking automatic weapons without any issue. Just go down to the Medley range and you're good. Go down to Medley. You can shoot an Uzi. You can shoot whatever you want, man. There's no holds bar in Hialeah, man. So, all right, let's move on. Otherwise my wife's going to kill me because I'll be on here till like 11 o'clock at night. The other day, man, I'll tell you what, I started talking and man, it was just, I was hot. I'm pretty pissed about like some of the crap that's just going on, and, I don't know, going on to another avenue of this, right? Like how many of you guys have been paying attention to what the oil markets are doing, right? Yeah. Are they plummeting? Is gas prices going down? Hell no, absolutely not. Right. But yet, you know what? I sure as crap, kid you not, Jen Psaki's up there, White House press secretary, talking about in December, because President Biden's leadership, they released reserves from the strategic oil reserves. Price of oil went down 10 cents in December. That's what they're going off of. You're glad that you live in the UK. Guns kill people. Yeah, guns do kill people. But do you know that in the state of Florida, as many guns are in Florida, that you are more likely to die by a hammer than you are by a gun? So by that account, you should outlaw hammers. And do you know that? So in the state of Florida, and I only know this because I wrote my thesis on it for my master's degree. In the state of Florida, you are every 96 minutes, 96 or 94 minutes. Every 96 or 94 minutes, somebody in the state of Florida, I'm not sorry, not in the state of Florida. Every 94 or 96 minutes, someone in the United States is killed at the hand of a gun. Right? Whether it be a assault and battery, a murder, a suicide, right? Because suicide is still considered a crime. So a gun is used in the commission of a homicide, right? Every 96 or 94 minutes. But every 36 minutes in the United States, someone dies at the hands of a drunk driver, right? I was a big DUI cop. I did a lot of DUIs, but yet we don't do more to restrict drunk drivers. Right. One of the main reasons why I ended up leaving my profession is because I was struck by a drunk driver, So, yeah, by that account, we need to, cars kill people, drunks kill people, but yet we slap a hands on, slap them on the wrist and let them go. So yeah, what do you mean? Don't they ban guns? It's 20-inch zombie killers. Wait, hold on. Let me try to catch up. These guys are saying there's so much profit from oil that they don't know what to do. Dude, I'm not kidding you, man. They should ban guns in America. Yeah, but then if they ban guns in America, then how am I going to protect myself from the bad people? Because there's definitely some bad, heinous people in this world, and I can't trust my government to protect me. So I'll tell you what, I'm a pretty big advocate for gun rights simply because of that, because I do not want to be a victim. I will never be a victim. And I can tell you that. You have bad people in England? Yeah, you do. You do. There's a difference though between, and you know what? I can't speak about the UK because I don't live there and I don't know. Right. But what I can tell you as a police officer going to a lot of the calls that I went to, and I'll tell this one quick story, right? And that'll be it, right? So long story short, there was a dispatch call. A woman comes home and finds her six or 7-year-old daughter. I can't remember the age. I mean, I remember her face to this day, but I can't remember the age. 6 or 7, and her live-in boyfriend is on top of her, assaulting her. Long story short, he ends up trying to do really bad things to her, and ends up taking just a random steak knife and shoving it in her back. And this is where the evil in the world comes, man. This is where, I know a lot of people give cops a bad rap, but day in and day out, they're fighting the evil of the world. And if you don't believe me that there's evil people in this world, there are. Just turn on a true TV show, watch a Netflix documentary, and you'll see some of the heinous and some of the people out there that just don't really care about human life. And yeah, there's sometimes that, you get big bad apples, but man, I'll never forget, coming through that doorway and seeing, what I saw, and evil has to be met with very righteous. And that's one of the things as a cop, I used to always make sure I did was everything I did was just righteous, but without the ability to stave off and to defend yourself, man, you're just going to be a victim. And, I can't, like I said, I can't speak about the UK. But I can tell you that, I've been shot at multiple times and not in a police uniform and not in a police car. I've been almost a victim to several crimes. And because of that right that I had, I was able to stave off and, live to see another day. So yeah, I could tell you in the US, if they flat out banned firearms, the only people that would have them are the criminals. And then that's it. There's nothing you can do about it. And if there's anything to prove that, I'll tell you what, anybody's welcome to do it. Take a flight down to Baltimore and drive through downtown Baltimore with your windows down at night and just see what happens. I guarantee you, bad stuff's really going to happen. So you're from Libya. You've been kidnapped. I'll tell you what, man, I got pretty close to being kidnapped one time. I was actually in Ecuador, Guayaquil, Ecuador. I was traveling from Guayaquil, Ecuador to Manta, Ecuador on a super secret squirrel stuff. And kid you not, man, it was a little tense situation for about 25 minutes until they realized that I wasn't playing around. Me and the rest of the guys I was with weren't playing around. So yeah, bro, that sucks, man. That sucks, man. I've never been to Libya, man. I could tell you, I've never been to Libya. I don't think, I know some guys that have been to Libya. I know some guys that flew around Libya for a while, but I never actually been to Libya. So, yeah, you can't choose the day or time exactly that evil crosses your path. You just got to be ready for it, man. So absolutely. And those of you guys that, well, you know what, we'll continue, man. Let's get into the charts. Otherwise I'll talk here all day, man. I will definitely talk all day long on this. So, all right, let's get into the charts. You don't want to go there anytime soon, but yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's talk about DXY. right? So, we have a lot of US dollar news. Oh man, hold on. Let's see. I totally forgot about flipping the YouTube chat. So Hialeah Walmart. Yeah, man. Listen, Hialeah Walmart, dude, you need a carry to go to the Hialeah Walmart for sure. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Nicole? Well, that's right. Well, actually, you know what? Hey, I'll tell you what. I didn't even realize this, Nicole. So I was actually talking about a whole different situation. This is when I was up north, but I totally forgot about that one I totally forgot about that one down there. I remember that one too. Yeah, bro, you can get killed walking your doggy, man. That's straight up from Robert De Niro. So yeah, absolutely. All right, let's dive into it. So let's get into the dollar first, right? Because I kind of want to set the stage for this. And I talked about this last week, why I'm still bearish dollar, right? And the reason I'm still bearish dollar is because, damn, this looks like a damn reaccumulation, right? The fact that we showed the distribution, we had the shakeout, and we broke really gives me a lot of confidence that we are going to continue higher with the dollar index. Now, does that mean that we can't push a little bit lower into this? Not necessarily, but I'm pretty convinced that we are not going to trade below this, right? And then when we look at both dollar index and Euro USD, because they're diametrically opposed, you'll see that there's some major divergence, right? So if we look over here at US dollar, hold on, let's get over here to, all right. And let's go 4 hour first. All right, so dollar index is flipped on the bottom here, right? Just so we can see the same price action. And, we could see, let's line this up here. Hold on. There we go. So we can see that we definitely have some divergence, right? And the divergence being present is right here, right? EU trades above it. Dollar index comes nowhere close, right? Dollar index comes nowhere close. So by this definition, dollar index would be what? Would be still bearish, right? And you can see all we did was we break and then we come back into mitigating this move right here. So, and in reality, like the only reason you're seeing it like this is because I've inverted it, right? So if I do it normal, you can see, right, dollar index is still in that reaccumulation. Does EXY count? So you don't understand the EXY. So the EXY and the DXY are just the complete opposites, right? So because just go off of that. I think that'd be the easiest thing. So it is the exact thing as the EU chart, right? It is. So if you look at dollar index so if I come over here and I throw the Euro futures chart, right? This is the Euro futures. And if I just invert dollar index, right? It's the same chart. And if I throw, and this is what you want to learn, right? You want to learn your correlations, because if you can learn correlations, then that's it. I mean, the rest is just piece of cake. When you can see that, let's see. So we have Euro futures, we have dollar index, and then we come over here and get Euro USD. It's going to be the same exact chart, right? Here it is. All three are the same exact chart. Now, they are actually not the same chart. What they are, though, they are moving in the same way. So how do I use this? I use this as comparable strength divergence, right? So in a case like this, where dollar is respecting, right? Dollar is respecting structure. Euro USD has not, Euro USD has not. Everything's being driven by the dollar here. Okay. So when you can use these things as correlating pairs and then even incorporate maybe like a relative strength, something like an RSI, that's going to give you just an extra confirmation. So understanding your correlating pairs, I mean, that's the key. So in this aspect, right, like when I see this, you can see that we are still respecting this. And this is why I am still looking to short Euro USD. And, if I was trading future side, I'd be looking to short this. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you got it. Okay. So that's ultimately what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for the short on Euro USD. All right. What I want to see is we had manipulation, right? If you look at the 15-minute chart, and you know what, I should have had this when I had DXY up. So you could see we have a distribution, right? We have a distribution, this being our UTAD right here. If we come over here and we look at dollar index, you could see the divergence between them, right? EU gave the UTAD. Dollar index gave the lower low, which means DXY is the leader. Euro USD is the laggard. I personally like to trade the laggard because it's going to give me the spring or the UTAD. Yeah. One lags. You got it, bro. One lags. So DXY is the leader on this one right now. Does one index ahead of the other? What do you mean? Does one index like DXY and Euro USD? I'm sorry, DXY and like the Euro index. I don't know. I've actually never really back tested both of them at the same time. I just use them as confluence for each other. All right. So with what we've got in front of us, right? Like what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for the short on Euro USD, right? And where am I looking for the short? In that manipulation we got last week, right? It's pretty clear. Like, and if you just kind of come in here, you know that this is where the buy started. This is where they ended up selling off. So I've got my alert sitting at 50% of that move. I get a distribution anywhere in here, I'm pulling the trigger. So it's right. It's accumulating out of demand, right? Out of here. And yeah, like this morning, what I was talking about, I wanted to see us trade below here. I'm not too concerned with it though, because of dollar index already trading below it. So you can see the same price action over here is right here, and dollar index is already traded below it. So I'm perfectly fine with it. It's not, I'd be a little more concerned with it if I had a limit order set, but I don't have a limit order set. I'm going to wait for the schematic. So if I get the schematic, pulling the trigger on it. All right. But yeah, that's something that I would be paying attention to, you know, especially the fact that's why I had this low here or the alert here, because I did want us to trade below it, especially this morning when we were somewhere, I guess yesterday morning when we were sitting over here. But I'm perfectly fine. Let it walk on up coming into this manipulation. All right. All right. So that's Euro USD. I'll just go down the quick list real quick. So CAD Chef, I'll be honest, CAD Chef, there's absolutely nothing I'm doing with CAD Chef. CAD Chef did come in to my point of interest for the sell. The only problem is we still haven't made a new low. And now I'm still looking at this as a redistribution. However, we haven't taken this low here. So because we haven't made a new low, I'm just going to sit back and wait and let figure out what it's going to do. If it does end up making that new low, right? All right, now we have a redistribution. Now I know where I'm going to play out of. Right. And ideally, what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for some mitigation out of whatever causes. So if we get something like this, right, say that we get boom, then I know that this area right here is my first point of interest. All right. And if we do if in that move, we break this low here, I know that this is what is maintaining it. So I'll be looking for an entry out of probably the extreme of that, something up in here. All right. I don't think we're going to get it. I think, if we do break the low, I think we're going to come into whatever the slingshot is that breaks that here. All right. So that's what I'm going to kind of be paying attention to. Chef JPY, right? So last week we talked about the buy, right? We're, higher time frame, top down analysis on this. We're bullish till the cows come home. All right. I took a buy out of this shakeout, out of the reaccumulation, popped me in right here. And then what was I looking for? I was looking for us to confirm the other reaccumulation. And then I wanted to see a mitigation back into this. So sadly, I'm not in this, right? This stupid thing comes right into my entry. But it does it on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And by that time, I had already cleared my board. I was already done trading for the week. And I didn't get into this trade. So unfortunately, I'm not in it. And it's moved since that Friday. It has moved a total of 100 pips. So it is what it is. Chef JPY has given me a lot of love, so I'm not going to be upset with it. And what I'm going to be looking for is just playing the continuation move, right? As it stands right now, what am I seeing? Right. So, we're seeing buyers come into this market. This is clearly hold on, let me throw a box on it. This is clearly another reaccumulation, right? This move in here. But more importantly, what I'm looking for is the last like 48 hours. So what happened, right? We had what appeared to be a pretty decent accumulation here. And I'll tell you right now, if I was up for this, I would have taken an entry out of this right here. So I would have taken the L on that move. However, it did give some fantastic price action in there. And what I'm going to be looking for is I've got the alert set. Obviously we're in this order flow leg right here. So I want to see, do we come and give me a pop in here? So tonight before I go to bed, I'll set this limit. It's going to be light risk because you're not going to need a lot, right? And the reason you're not going to need a lot is, so we'll go down to the 1 minute, and I don't know if you could see it, but that's what it looks like on the 1 minute. All right. So what do we have, right? We have we have Asian price action. Then we have Frankfurt that gives the sweep, and then London comes in and just takes everything out before running up for about 60 pips. So if we come down to 15-second time frame, so that's what she's gonna. Zach really liked that setup. He did like the setup, bro. He did. So this is what it looks like on the 15-second. I'll just take you to where I found it. So on the 1 second time frame, here she is. This is the 1 second. So I know it doesn't look like much. It's Chef JPY. There's not a lot of volume that's being traded. But I'll go to the line chart, and we have our 1 drive, 2 drive. There is a 3rd drive. It comes down, and then this being your spring. So once we break this now confirms for me my accumulation. So what I'm going to be looking to play, is this. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm not going to take it off the 80%. I will take it off the 50, because off the 50, she is only a 1.8 pip stop, right? So I will throw this in there. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, you don't have to put a lot of risk into this. Even even off the small order that it's sitting at, just to get up to the area where I would realistically just be partialing out. I mean, that's a 46 pip move. You're already talking a 1 to 26. And then where I'd be looking to really take this up to, is up to this high over here. So you're already at 235 pips. You're over a 1 to 100. So yeah, man, listen, they try to fool you with all these little BS plays. You got to outsmart them, man. I'll tell you right now, I spend a good minute trying to decipher what the stupidity of the market that they're trying to pull. How much spread do you account for on limit orders? So on Chef JPY, it depends. So I won't trade Chef JPY. Well, I'm not going to say I won't trade it on my personal account, but I typically only trade Chef JPY on my prop firm accounts. And I'll tell you right now, on both FTMO and TPT, I give it 1 pip spread, because it'll fluctuate. It'll go between like 7 pipettes and like 1.1 pips. So I typically just throw 1 pip on it for spread. Yeah. So that's what I'll be looking for on Chef JPY. All right. And the common theme, right, on all the JPY crosses is I'm pretty bullish on all the crosses. So I'm going to be looking for continuation buys. I'll jump over real quick to GJ, because I was looking at GJ this morning as well. GJ and Chef JPY are the only JPY crosses that actually did anything during London, right? If you look at AJ, AJ was a little bummer too, because I was looking for AJ to come back into this, and she comes just shy of my alert and then gives a nice little reaction. So we'll cover AJ in a minute, but you could see AJ left Asian lows intact. CAD left Asian lows intact, right? But GJ did not. GJ did not. So GJ came in to the area I wanted to see us come into, right? This last push. And for all the 80% people, there you go, man. She came right into that 80% for us, right? Super clean distro. Here's your distro. What do you get when you have a distro that gives 1 drive, 2 drives down with the creek? You have a reaccumulation once that happens, right? So we know that this was the shakeout. She came right in there, right? Came right into the 80%. But more importantly, last night, or at least my last night, what did she do? Well, she gave us a distribution, right? She gave us a distribution, and in that shakeout, right, we have potential. So we have some potential in here, and this is where I was kind of like focusing. So let's go down to the 1 minute, and this is what she looks like on the 1 minute, right? If you can't see the type 1 accumulation, it looks like this, right? So climax to your rally, to your secondary test, to your up thrust action, depending if that goes up, and then to your secondary test that gives, you can see this is 50%, gives it to the 50%, and then we get the sweep right at Frankfurt Open, right? So this be my STB, this be my spring, right? And then what do? We break structure and we come right back into the 50%. 50% of this move. So you measure this to this, here's 50%. And that's what GJ gave this morning. Entry would have been right at 2:40, about 20 minutes before London Open, right in the prime time of when I would like to get into an entry off a Frankfurt sweep. Now, it wasn't a really tight stop. It was only 4.2 pips, right? Which, for GJ is phenomenal in my opinion. But what this did give was just a fantastic move to the first area that I would have partialed out at, right? The first area, what I would have partialed out at, you're talking in 25 minutes, you're already at a 1 to 12. And where this thing ended up going all the way up to, right? You're talking at the highest point, you're at a 1 to 18. So it did give a really nice little reaction, little move. But where I'm going to be focused in on is, and this is what you can see my alert here, sitting here looking for buys. I want to look for a buy out of this reaccumulation right here. Out of this last pump, this is that last mitigation of the prior drop. So this is where I want to really focus in, and I wanted to catch an accumulation here. I don't know if we're going to get it, simply because we did get price to come back it came back hard during New York, and then we saw a reaction. So there's only two ways I'm going to get into this trade, right? And I'm not looking for sells on it whatsoever. What I am going to be looking for is, do we make one more pass down and accumulate here? This gets me in the trade. The other option is we pop up above this, confirm this as a reaccumulation, right? And now I'll be looking to come back and mitigate here with an accumulation. That gets me in the trade. Anything outside of those two things happen, I'm not in a trade. All right. So I'm going to be continuing to look for the buys on GJ. Now, I think last week I was talking about this. What did I see? I saw that we were going to, I had every indication that we were going to pop this high, which we did. But now keep in mind, this is our leg right here, right? All we've done was trade into realistically our slingshot, if you will. Can we still come back down into this last push? We can. I'll tell you right now, if we start showing signs of reaccumulation here, we've got an accumulation, a reaccumulation. Chances are we're going to pop up and make a new high here. All right. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. And we'll see how it plays out. All right. So GJ, Chef JPY are the two yen crosses that I'm really going to be focusing on this week. I'm also looking at UJ, but UJ really has been irritating me because I'm pretty spot on with the bias and the points of interest where I'm looking to get the entry, but man, it just doesn't give me an entry. You can see I was looking in on this reaccumulation. Actually here, wait, I was looking in last week. I was looking to catch this reaccumulation out of here. Well, she comes into the 50%, right? All right. It is what it is. 50% entry would have been a 18 pip stop. Nowhere in a billion years am I going to take an 18 pip stop loss on UJ. So it is what it is. I had to eat it. But then, I'm looking for us to come back and mitigate it. Well, what does it do on Friday at 3 p.m., an hour and a half before market closes? It comes back to mitigate exactly what I wanted, right? I wanted this box right here. That's what I wanted. We come right into it. So now, just like Chef JPY, what do I need to see? Well, we've now created that intent, right? I see that bullish agenda being played out. Okay. We have reaccumulation. And what I want to see, actually, let me move that up here. What I want to see is I want to see us now come back in to Frankfurt price action, which is right here. Right. So This is the only crappy part about UJ. So the low was printed 8 minutes before Frankfurt opened, and we never swept it. So this is why Chef JPY and GJ are higher on my list than this shenanigans, right? Because is this an accumulation? Absolutely, it's an accumulation, right? It's a clean accumulation. We have 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive spring. So, can we come back into something like this? Hold on. Can we come back into somewhere in here? Absolutely. And this is where, honestly, because it's Asian price action, I'm not going to set a limit, but I will play a clean, I will play a fresh schematic from this price point, right? So we get something in here, I will pull the trigger. All right. But we got to come back in there, right? So we've already confirmed the reaccumulation by taking this high, right? We're in bullish structure. So sounds great. So now I just need us to do this, right? And ideally the perfect scenario would be, Asian sessions getting ready to open up. Let's get a little move to the downside. We create something like this. Frankfurt pops it in, break of structure, come back to mitigate during London, and off to the races we go. All right. So that's kind of what I'll be looking at. All right. So UJ still on the list, but it's nowhere near as high on the list as GJ and Chef JPY. All right. Moving on, right? Moving on. Euro GBP, whole lot of nothing. Euro GBP is doing what Euro GBP does best. How do you do yellow for Asian session? On sessions on the chart, just change the color. Yeah. So like if you come over here on sessions on the chart, you can go to settings. So you just go to the style and this is it. So in order from bottom to top, your bottom order, I don't have it checked off, but that would be Sydney session. This one here is going to be your Asian session. This one here is New York. And then the top one here is going to be London. So all you do is just make sure you click on it. So like you see, if I unclick it, it takes off the yellow. Click on your Asian session. You can come here and make whatever you want and change the opacity of it. So it seems like you're waiting for schematics to happen within either a spring or UTAT to take an entry. Like on what chart? Like on a larger time frame? Sure. Yeah. Because for me, it's got to be worth the risk, right? Everything has a risk assessment. So I've got to ask myself, is this setup worth the equity, 2, the time it's going to take me to manage this trade, journal the trade, track the trade, and manage the trade. So in a case like, if we go back to like UJ, right? So let's just look at UJ. And this is something that, you guys haven't thought about. Maybe it's something that you want to incorporate. All right. So let's just say that I was going to take this entry off the 50%. All right. And because this is an order flow play for me on my prop trading accounts, this requires $125, right? On my prop trading account. So $125. And let's just say, where's my first target area? I'm going to target this high right here, because that's where I'm going to partial out. Okay. So I risked $125 on this trade. I caught 72 pips, right? I'm only up $470.55, right? And this entire trade has now taken 1 day and 12 hours. So we're talking 18 hours. So I've had to deal with this trade now for 18 hours for $470, right? So realistically, I mean, most of you guys in the US, you can go get a job application, work at Walmart as a greeter, and probably make the same amount of money with less stress in your life, right? You just wave high and say it's on aisle 22 or something like that, right? So it's just not worth it. It comes down to a risk assessment. Is it worth my equity? The $125 is low risk anyway, so I could care less about that. But now what really matters to me, because time is money, is it worth my management? Is it worth my journaling? Is it worth me dealing with everything that UJ's dealing with? Now, it's a different story off that 80%, right? Had price given me that 80%, well, now that $125 risk, right? I'm up 1433, right? So on a 100K account, you're up 1.4%, right? Now that makes it worth it. but not at no $470. You know what I'm saying? So it honestly, I can't tell you how many trades I see that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it looks good and meets all my qualifications, but it's just not worth my risk. And not only that, but like, it's you have a luxury when you're trading a large leverage account, right? So, you don't have to worry so much with like TPT because you have a 1 to 200 leverage. Even FTMO, I don't know if FTMO has changed any of their stuff, but the account that I have, it's a 1 to 100 leverage. So I still have to be a little cautious with that. Right. But I'll tell you on my personal account, because I'm a US citizen with a US broker, I have a 1 to 50 leverage. So where UJ, right? UJ, because it's a yen cross, even though it's a major, it's a yen cross, requires 5% margin for me, right? On a Wanda. That right there is a big toll because EU only requires 2%, right? But now if I wanted to trade, say, EU, UJ, and GJ is a 6% margin requirement. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be hard pressed to get into all of these 3 entries. So now I have to be really selective about, okay, so do I really want to catch an entry that's going to give me 18 pips? So every 18 pips, I'm making $125, so that's how I justify and rationalize which trades I'm going to get into. Cause otherwise, I could honestly, if I had unlimited leverage and I can just take as many trades as I want just with proper risk management, I'd be popping trades all the time. The only issue is, I've got to be selective because one, I don't want to get into this trade that's going to give me, I don't want to get into this trade here that's going to give me a 19 pip stop loss and then not be able to get into a trade that's going to give me a 2 pip stop loss that goes a 1 to 100, right? Where this, or if the one that gives me a 2 pip stop loss goes 100 pips and this one gives me 100 pips, obviously the one with the 2 pip stop is going to be a tremendous trade, where this one here, I'm going to be pretty damn upset that I've got to journal everything. And it's almost like a break even, right? Okay. Yeah. It hit here. What am I going to do? How much do I take off? Do I take 0.25%? So I paid myself what I risked on this trade, $125. That leaves me with about 300 plus left in orders on this. On a prop account, that's not going to do much for you. So that's how I kind of look at it. All right, hold on. Let me catch up to this. How can you locate the Frankfurt time? What do you mean? How do I put it on there? So depending on what time zone you're in, but it's the hour before London Open. So, like if you're doing sessions on the chart, right? So if you come over here to sessions on the chart, just change your input, right? So if you want to make, if you want to make the London your Frankfurt, just move this to 2 a.m. Right? Move that to 2 a.m. And then make it, me personally. So this is how I have mine set up, right? So this is the one that I use, the other one. So you can see my London, right? My London box is from 2 a.m. Eastern to 3 a.m. Eastern, right? It's just a 1 hour because I really don't care, right? I don't care about, I know by looking at this chart, I know when London opens because it's right at the end of the gray box, right? I know when London opens. So all I care about is where's my Asian session and then where's my Frankfurt hour. And this is my Frankfurt hour. So that's how I do it. So, all right, let me see. That's how I feel with GU. Doesn't feel like it's worth trading right now. GU, I will look at GU. Now, if you said gold, I'm right with you. There's nothing that's going to get me into gold right now. I haven't had a problem with leverage yet, probably because I only take 1 to 2 trades at a time with. Yeah. So the problem, and you won't if you take 1 to 2 trades at a time, but the problem that I run into, especially with not so much with FTMO, because FTMO has its own issues, but TPT, right? I don't need to close out my trades every cycle. So if I want to leave open a trade for 3 months on TPT, I can. I just can't process the profits from that trade. So like on my personal account or on TPT, if I'm in a trade for a month and a half, it's still eating up my margin, right? So before I can when I start running low on margin, my leverage starts to get maxed out, then now I have to decide, well, I'm up 792 pips on Chef JPY. Should I close that out so I can take this 19 pip UJ buy? And then obviously it's an easy decision. No, I'm not closing out UJ because I know that I'm protected. I know that I've scaled in and out and I can hedge out of Chef JPY. UJ, it's an all out risk at this point, Okay. Yeah. There you go. All right. Let me catch up here. Let's see. Yes. Yes. Do I monitor trades with alerts as well? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes. If you're not using your alerts, I'll tell you right now, and most of you guys know how I trade. It's all alert based. Like I don't sit here and watch the chart. Like I don't, I'll be in my office. I'll be watching some TV. I'll be playing maybe some video games with my son, on our computers here. But yeah, I'm not sitting here glued to the computer watching the charts. I use the alerts. The alerts are your best thing. I'm telling you, and especially, I know some of, like I remember when I had just the plus and I only had, I don't remember, like 30 alerts, but I've got 91 alerts that I'm using out of the 400, so I'm not running out of alerts anytime soon. So, put alert at TP1 EG. Wait. All right. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what you mean by that, bro. Okay. So stops to break even alert for, oh yeah. So like, yeah, here, I'll give you an example. Like, so like, let's just say UJ here, right? Let's just say that, well, what's this alert say here? Hold on. So look for buys. Okay. So this alert here, look for buys, was probably down here. And when that alert went off, now I know to look for buys, right? So let's say that price starts to give me an accumulation. We get this. So now what do? I go ahead and put an alert here and put an alert here. I box it out, right? This alert says spring. This alert says BOS. So now I get the spring, boom. All right, good. So now I keep, I move my BOS alert to whatever break of structure I require. And then I delete my spring alert. All right. So now, boom, we get the break of structure. I move now an alert to near entry, wherever I'm going to take the entry, just so I know that price is close to my entry. And then as soon as I get price action, right? So in this case here, let's say that I did happen to catch this entry off a really tight stop. The minute I start to see price do this, and typically what I'll do is I'll watch it for a couple of minutes, but you can see this is a 15-minute chart. This thing probably took like 9 hours to do this, right? So what do? The minute I see us make a new high, I'm reducing risk. And then I would probably, go ahead and set an alert up here to just break it even and take either, or not break it even, but take my first partials, like what I'm going to pay for that trade, or go break even. I'm going to do one or the other. So, okay. And then at every interval where I have my take profits, I already have it set in my position size calculator where my next partial is going to be. So it automatically takes it out, but I still want to be alerted so that when I wake up in the morning, I get the box that says, whatever, EG TP1 partials, right? I know, okay, well, I got partials taken. So let me look for my reentry. So yeah, the alerts for me are big. I use a ton of alerts just to help me, and I like it because I have everything linked, right? I have my computer, I have my iPad, I have my watch. So anywhere I'm going to get an alert from TradingView saying whatever is going on, and that's how I play it. So hold on, guys, give me 2 seconds. Let me just let one of the dogs out. So hopefully that helps. All right, let me see. It's because we have been bullish for 2 weeks and you're only looking for sells on GU. Yes, I'm only looking for sells as well. So we're in the same bias. So I've been sitting in my hands for a while now. I want to take a short on NU, but I don't like the price action on GU. Yeah, we'll get to GU. No worries. Yeah. Do you find alerts take the emotion out of it? Yeah. You don't have to listen. It's just for me, whatever I can do to not pay attention or not worry about the stresses of what that chart is printing to me, and just play the price action. Right. I'll tell you this, and I think a lot of people that I've been talking to lately, I think where they really start to get that aha moment or that, that understanding of what the price action is doing It's when you forget about what is supposed to happen or what you think it's going to happen and just, I've talked about it before. What are the facts, right? What did price do? What did this move do? What did it react from? So like I talked about this every week. Price doesn't pivot by accident, right? Price doesn't react from an area by accident. Everything's intentional. Everything has a purpose. So you always have to ask yourself, well, listen, why did price do this? Why did price come here? Why did price sweep that and do this and then give us that reaction? Why did all that happen, right? So when you start getting those answers and start figuring it out, that's when you really start to remove the emotion from your trading. All right. Let's see. How many of your trades? So that's an easy one, Tim. So I don't really wake up a lot for London crossover. I can tell you that the majority, majority. I mean, we're talking like, you know what? Hold on. Give me a sec. I'll tell you right now. I want to say it's like 80. It was like 88% activated during New York. Yeah. So 86.8%. And so this is for my journal. This is how I kind of break it down. So I have London session, right? I have London right now in my London. I incorporate Frankfurt, right? So for London, it's 02 to 05 Eastern, right? 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern. Then I have my London crossover, right? Which for me, it's 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Right? 5 a.m. Well, 5 a.m. to really it's 8 o'clock in the morning is New York. Now there's a difference because I don't indices, I don't put into a crossover, right? Indices, I only trade New York. So it's always just going to be New York, right? And I don't get into indices prior to the 9:30 stock market open. And then anything after 10 a.m. to, like 5 p.m. Eastern is going to be my New York. And for the most part, this was the window, and I really don't look for anything past 2 p.m. Eastern anyway. It's the 4-hour window between 10 and 4 that I really get into entries. So yeah. And no similar to listen, man, I worked for, I don't know how many years I worked midnights. So, but I hear you. Cause that's why I don't wake up for London, man. It's just listen, I'm 40 years old, days of waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning are done. So, yeah, it is what it is. When I'm in a trade, do I put an alert on the stop loss? Yeah, I do. So I'll put an alert on the stop loss just so I know that the trade got stopped out. Or not on the, well, if I'm at break even or reduced risk, I'll also put it at that reduced risk. So I know. London doesn't close till 11. No, London closes at 12 for me. So yeah, London closes at 12. All right, cool. Okay. Yeah. Bear with me. There we go. All right. Here's my markup on AU. What do you think on AU? You looking for sells? Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm right there. I just don't think we're going to get back up there though. I honestly don't think. I think realistically, so, I mean, if we get back up there, great. I honestly think that hold on. I think this was the mitigation, man. I honestly think that was our mitigation. So we'll see what happens. I'll get into AU and we'll break it down. Yeah, I honestly don't know if we're going to get it back up there. So I think honestly, if we're going to do anything, it's going to be back into that manipulation because this is a distro on itself. So we'll see what happens. Ideally what I want to see this turn into a redistribution. So, and we'll kind of see. Do I consider Frankfurt part of the London session? Yes, I do. Yeah. For my journal, yes. If it happens during Frankfurt, that hour before London, I mark it as Yeah, I mark it as London. How long would it take a 100K account to hit $1 billion with 8% compound interest, 30% win rate? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure. I mean, you can. I'm sure we can do the math and do it, but I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Without any, so 8% compound without any withdrawals. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you. Who used the P word? Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm nowhere close to $1 billion. And if the IRS is asking, I'm nowhere close to $1 million. So actually, I if the IRS is listening, I have no idea what I do. I trade comic books. Yeah. Alrighty. So I am looking for the short on AU, and we'll talk about it. I mean, this is maintaining the structure. So you're absolutely 100%. I'm not going to hold my breath to think that we're going to come back up there, So yeah, that's the only thing with AU, man. So, all right, let's dive into it. So yeah, if it gets up there, great. If it gets up there. All right. So we talked, EG is doing EG stupidness. So ain't nothing I'm going to do with it. EU, we talked about EU, right? I'm looking for the sell, right? I'm looking for the sell out of this distro. Now GU, and we'll talk about GN too, because GN was a fantastic move on Thursday. So GU, what am I waiting for on GU? All right. So let's just kind of look at this. All right. So we know that we're being maintained in this leg right here, right? And, I wanted to see us come back into this last point of supply, which we did right here, right? We came back into it. And that's why I don't even know how long ago I took this stupid entry, but that's why I took these two entries over here, right? I got into entry number one, and I think I got into a second entry up here. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I only got into the one. But so what do we see, right? We saw that price gave us a complete market cycle, right? Distribution, redistros, then we accumulated. All right. So now all I need to wait for is I just need to wait for evidence of sellers coming back into the market, right? I just need to see that seller's intent. And what better way to get a seller's intent than overall, and this should be a distribution, not a redistro. I think I just copied one of these boxes over, but overall, what do we have? We have a distro. And how do we know that? Well, we have a clean manipulation, right? Which led to our break. So because of that, this is now my main focal point, right? And knowing that we engulfed here and we came back into the 50, the 80 is still open, but I'm pretty confident that this was the mitigation and we made a new low. Right. So that's why out of this new low, that's why I'm going to kind of pay attention to what we do in here. So going into tonight, if this gives me the right price action, I will take it. Right. I will. And it looks like, we're getting some decent compression on this. So, if we come in and we do the old, Frankfurt sweep, the break, yeah, that's the entry right there to short this. And I'll tell you right now, if we trade above this, that's it. I know we're coming for that 80%. So I'm not even going to pay attention to GU, because when you look at the other manipulation, right? GU is sitting right here, but where's EU at, right? EU's got a ways to go till we get up to where I want to sell it from. EU, this is where I want to sell EU from. So, I'm going to be patient with GU. I'm not going to, prematurely jump the gun on it, but I'm going to be ready in case it does give me the price action I want to see. All right. Yeah. You can do the math. Listen, it's honestly, it's just a compound interest plan. You can honestly just Google one, type, compound interest plan, and it'll ask you for starting balance, what the interest rate that you want to do, and it'll tell you, you can do, and I would do, it'll break it down by the years. So like in, what your balance would be at 5 years, at 10 years, at 30 years. So, all right. Does it have to be during London, or could it be in a couple? So, and this is just my back testing and just my experience. Counting Frankfurt, right? So Frankfurt for me is 2 a.m. Eastern. Typically, I want to see the manipulation, within the first 2 hours. So, the 2 a.m. to like 4 a.m. windows when I would see that manipulation. So ideally, and if you look, just look at a lot of the price action that you're seeing. You're seeing Asian. You're seeing that Frankfurt, that hour of Frankfurt with the sweep. You'll see the break, and then you'll see London mitigation, or vice versa. You'll see London sweep and then come back with a New York mitigation. So I just want to see like that market open. That's when the volume hits the market, right? That's when the orders get flooded in, and that's when you see the most manipulation. You really don't see outside of news, right? Outside of news events, you're not going to see manipulation at 5:30 in the morning Eastern time. It's typically going to just be standstill until we get into New York price action. So, what do you mean? Which trade? Which trade are you talking about? You talking about the one up top? No, the one on top was a good trade. Yeah, the one on top was a good trade. On GU? Yeah. This one up here? This one up here I had to work for. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah. To your wait, let's see. Do you think FOMC could cause EU or GU? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it could be, we can get that spike up here. So that's what I'll kind of be waiting on. So, yep. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So that's GU. All right. Here, staying with the majors, we'll talk about AU as well. Right. So AU, right. AU, what do we see? I wanted price. Let me clean some of this up because we ended up trading through that. Hold on. Clean that and clean this. So now what do we have? We have this right here. Right. All right. So right off the bat, what am I looking at? And this is why, like, I do agree, look, I've got it up here, right? I am looking for price to trade up in that area, right? So I have it up there. I just don't think we're going to get there. In just the market cycle that we're seeing, if we do this, right? So like, let's just say right now we collapse. That's it. We're everything above here is done, right? If we trade higher, I'm still targeting this right here. And, if we can get that, great. What I'm ideally, this is my entry zone, right? I'm looking anything in this 50% area. Yeah, I'm looking anywhere. I'm going to be looking anywhere in this area right here. This is what I want to target. All right. But I'll be honest, like AU, not as clean as like EU, right? We don't have the weakness because we're still bullish order flow, right? Accumulation, reaccumulation, distro into demand, turning into a reaccumulation. So at this point, yes, we've shown a little temporary weakness, but for me, it's not there yet to pull the trigger. Where you look at EU is a different story. EU is showing you the weakness, right? EU is already walking it down. Would I have preferred that low to get taken? Yeah, 100%. But going off of DXY strength, right? DXY is already telling me that we're going to push lower. So that's what I'm going to you got your eyes on SPX. You're looking at SPX for what, a buy or a sell? Give me your thoughts. All right, let's talk about GN. So GN's another one that I really liked. I hate to bring up a sore subject, but DR dropped this in the chat and I jumped on it. So, we came into, GN's bullish till the cows come home as well, right? So we came into some really, really clean price action. We go down to the 1 minute. And this took a little bit of getting used to, or not getting used to, but getting comfortable enough for me to take the buy, because like all of this here is just noise, right? I mean, yes, we are showing, some decent price action every time price comes in. What do? We're seeing that reaction, right? We're seeing that reaction. So finally, after, you got me once, you got me twice, you sold me on the third one. All right. So now we come back into this last push. I'm going to set the alert around the 50. When we come into that 50, I'm going to look for a reason to get into the trade. Right. And listen, if this ain't the damn reason to get into the trade, I don't know what else is. I took a loss on it. Right. I did take a first loss. So, you get your trading range, right? And you have your climax, your test, your test, your test, and then you get your spring, right? Because this does trade lower. And then does it not break the previous low? Absolutely. So, I took an entry, especially seeing that type 1 right there. I took an entry out of there, right? So I took an entry out of there and flatlines me, just takes me completely out. All right. And I always talk about the line in the sand, right? But have we violated the line in the sand? The line in the sand for me is this right here, right? Until we trade below that, I'm not done with this thing. So what do? I got stopped out. The alert happened, stop loss hit. Sounds great. So what do? I move my alert up to this high right here. Because now if price trades above that high, I'm getting back in this market. So as soon as we get this leg right here, what do we have? We have our spring. Right? We have our spring. And now, just like I talked about UJ, you're out of your mind if I'm going to be taking, especially GN. GN has a spread on my personal broker, right? On Awanda. GN's typical spread is 6.5 pips. All right. How many chances will you give a trade if it fails on entry until I hit my daily stop? So my daily stop loss is 1% loss. So this would have been a 12.3 pip stop, right? So there's no way I'm taking 12.3 pips. So what can I do? Well, I know that this blue line right here is 50% of the whole move. I know this red line is 80% of the move. But what do we see happening, right? What do we see in this price action? And we see a reaccumulation. So I know that demand is here, right? I know demand is there. So when I lined up the 50% and then I measured out my reaccumulation, you could see that 80% of the reaccumulation lined up with 50% of this spring, right? That told me, okay, so I've got one of two options. I can put my stop loss at the bottom of this low, set an alert here, and I split risk. That's what I did, right? So I threw, half risk here, half risk here. If price stopped me out, and we got an accumulation in this box before the 80% entry got filled, I would market execute on the accumulation. So it sucked, but in this instance, because this is New York session, right? This happens at like lunchtime for me. I'm on the charts already. I'll babysit this. And as soon as we got this reaction, reduce risk, drop the 80, and off we go, right? This ended, this is at a 1-77. So the thought process behind it was there's no way I'm going to let them give me a 12 pip stop. So how can I try to reduce this risk exposure, right? How can I make it worth my trade? And I was fully prepared for this to get stopped out. And if it did, right, the 80 entry is sitting right here on 4.5 pips and I'll take it all day long. Right. So, but eventually it doesn't, right? Like what does it do? It comes in, it tags me in. Right. As soon as we take this high right here, that's it. The 80 entry is done and I'm reduced risk, so I go from, whatever, 0.25%. So let's just say that, I had a $125 risk on this trade right here. At this point, I'm now risking maybe like $15 there. So even if it hits my stop loss, I've done my job, like I've protected equity. That $15 is going to be minimal. It's not even going to affect my account, 16K profit. We talking about 16K profit. You remember that Kenny Phil for the 80? Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of times where, listen, so Kevin and DR were the ones that sent me the chart. They were watching this thing right here. Look, it was like right here when they were sending me the chart. And I said, yeah, right. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. I said, I like it. It's a good setup. So as soon as it went reduce risk, I said, hey, I'm reduced risk. And they told me they're not in the trade. So right about here, they said they're not in the trade. And I started just chuckling. I go, what do you mean you're not in the trade? Yeah. 1 to 77. Yeah. I mean, I didn't take full volume though. So like where, like, so just how I managed it was, so this was the entry in here. Right. And let's just go like here. So you could see like I partialed out here. So once we broke this high, I ended up paying myself what I risked on the trade. And then I took, in here, on Friday. So this was Friday. In Friday, I took partials here. So full volume on 125 bucks, right? Would be 97.29, right? Just under 10K. But yeah, it wasn't full volume up there, man. So yeah. Let's see. I got knocked out on EN trade recently during New York, thanks to a 22.5 spread spike. Listen, I have a screenshot from, I want to say it was December 2019. I'd have to look it up. I'll look up where that screenshot was, but I kid you not. It was Christmas Eve, right? Christmas Eve, Eastern time. And I was in a sell on NZD CAD. I'll pull up the chart one day. I was in a sell distribution at break even, in significant profits, right? Significant profits. I was up maybe like on a 3 pip stop. Maybe I was up 60 pips, right? And so I thought, all right, I'm just going to hold this over. Right at market changeover, the spread goes to 83 pips and stops me out, and doesn't stop me out at break even, stops me out with slippage. Yeah, let me tell you, I ended up buying a new phone after that one. I was pretty upset. As much as I talk about not being emotional with trading, I do get pissed off a lot when stupidity happens. So it is what it is. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know, Kevin, I know like stuff like that, it just comes with experience. Like, that play for me was probably a couple of missed trades that I had in my missed trade folder that I wrote down, I'm never going to let that happen to me again, and, just trying to, I talk about this, right? Like when you miss the trades, do you go back and do you figure out what you could have done to get into that trade? Right. And you just start seeing the same price action. It's like studying game film. You've got to figure out a way to defeat your opponent. And when you really start just thinking about, it comes down to your risk assessment. Could I have taken the easy way out and just said, I'm put a limit on the 50 and stop loss at the bottom and eat the 18, 12, whatever, 14 pips? I could have, but at that point it wouldn't have been worth it. So it was a monitor to break moment. No, the monitor to break moment was when I lost that money on the Iraqi or the Iranian general, man. I backsized and put it in mystery. All right, cool. How can you avoid slippage? You don't trade with that broker. There's no way to avoid slippage, man. It just happens. Yeah, there you go. Don't be in the trade. Exactly. All right. You're looking at potential sells in SPX? Yeah. We'll go through it. And tips for properly identifying the climax. So I guess the question would be when are you trying to identify your climax? Are you trying to identify it while you're in phase A, or are you trying to, I'll be honest, like this is when I go to mark up a chart. Here, we'll just go back to this GN one because it was just pretty simple, right? Do I always get protection plans on my devices? So I typically do, right? And I'll ask them, I kid you not. So I went to, my son, you guys know my daughters play volleyball, right? So my son is now playing baseball, and, we go to Dick's Sporting Goods and we're checking out some bats, whatever. And, the lady tries to sell me on the protection plan for the baseball bat. And I kid you not, I asked her, I said, well, what's the protection plan cover? And she made the mistake of telling me everything except for theft. So I can guarantee you that next year we'll be getting a new bat, because I don't care what I have to do, run it over with my truck, let him hit it against the concrete walls, whatever. We'll be getting a new bat once he's done with the season. And so I do, especially on my phones, man. My phones, I don't do it on the computers because, I can just fix the computer, but I definitely do it on the phones because I've been known to throw my damn phone across the room. I've also been known to throw my daughter's phones across the room. So I put protection plans on theirs as well. Yeah, like they tick me off or irritate me, especially when we're driving. I did it once. I freaking flung her phone out the freaking window. So yeah. Anyway, life of a daughter of a father of three girls. So let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Anyway, okay. So how do I identify the climax, right? So let me ask you this, right? Are you trying to identify the climax when price is here? Right? Is that where you're trying to identify the climax? Because if you are, like, just something that I do, I don't care about it at that point. Right. So like for me, when I start to identify my structure point is probably like here. Like when we're here, I'm already telling myself, okay, guess what? I've got my change of character. So I've got 1 drive, I've got 2 drive, I've got 3 drive. Now this isn't my spring yet. So I got 4 drives. So now at this point, what I've done is I've set an alert here and I've set an alert here and I just boxed it out. And, this is why I took the loss, right? So when price does this, boom, right? When price does that, all right, I got my spring, so now I have a clean schematic. But I'm really only starting to mark it out and really start to justify what I'm looking at once we're halfway through phase B. I'm not trying to catch like the first move. And, one of the things like, one of the analogies I'll use for identifying your change of character, which is essentially your SC or BC to your reaction, right? Is, when you're driving a car and you're coming up to a stop sign or a stoplight, do you stop right at the light or stop bar immediately, or do you start to slow down as you're coming up to it, right? So you start to slow down to it. So where's that first area where you're starting to see that change of momentum, right? So for me, in this entire schematic, it's this right here, right? It's this is my move that tells me, all right, we're starting to slow. And now I just wait for the manipulation. So yeah. Let's see. How do you work out your amount of risk when market executing? If price is varying, you can't get an actual amount of pips to determine. So that's why you got to use that position size calculator that we use. I mean, I'll be honest, like that's what I do. Like I pull up my position size calculator, and when I go, I have pending, I have limit orders, and I can market execute. And if I market execute, I put in, say I'm going to risk $125, $250. It automatically, based on the changing of price, it's automatically already calculating what my stop loss is, or not my stop loss, but my risk is based off the stop loss. So I don't need to calculate, right? It's already doing it for me. So, and most of you guys that use it know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it honestly is the game changer. The last 2 years using it, by far, probably the easiest trading I've ever done, because you really don't have to do a lot. It already calculates everything for you, calculates my margin. It tells me everything that I'm doing with it. So, pitching practice. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I can fling that thing like nobody's business. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, not all the girls are in their teens, just 2 of them. The baby is still the baby, so she's 7. No, they don't have TikTok, bro. I don't let my kids have TikTok or any of that stuff. Yeah. For your reaccumulations, do you trade them? My reaccumulations? Yeah. Continuation move. Absolutely. Which calculator is it? So if you go on my YouTube channel, I did a video on it and the links are in it. Right. So hold on. If I go to my channel, actually, speaking of which, so just because it was starting to get way out of control, I have a sub account, right? I have a crypto account too. So actually I'll drop this in here for everybody. So I will, anything crypto related, like nodes, mining, charts, stuff like that. I'm dropping in this crypto one. So if you guys want to subscribe to it and get when I drop crap in it, it's right here, right? I'll throw it in there. And here I'll throw it on YouTube as well for those of you guys that are on the other channel. If it's trading related, I'll keep it on this, but it was just getting way too crazy. For me to keep up with like the playlists and stuff. So if it's crypto related, it'll be on the crypto channel. And if it's all it is, it's a sub channel. But so on the position size calculator, right? So let's go over to it on the position size calculator. That's the link. Oh, is this? Let's see. Wait, no. You got it for me, bro? Let me see. I think Angel got it for me, bro. Let's see. No, this is wrong one. Yeah, no, wrong one, bro. Hold on. It is this one here. Hold on. Let me go to, hold on. Bear with me. I got to search for this stupid thing. I know I put it under fibs and profits. Yeah, no. 1 second, bro. This is why. Damn, this is why I did the crypto one, because I've got way too many. All right, let me search. Let me just do this. Hold on. PSC. I'll do it by PSC. Let's see. In my channel, PSC. There it is. All right, hold on. Oh, you know what? That's why. I guess you guys can't see it because I accidentally pulled this stupid thing off. Here we go. So this is it right here. So if you go on my channel and just type in PSC, it's this right here, installing a position size calculator on MT4 and MT5. Now it says on a Mac, but you can do it for the Windows as well. And it's so much easier. And the links are in here. So this is the link that you go to the website to download it. I'll walk you through exactly how to do it. So yeah, this is it. So here, I'll drop it in the chat. And we'll put it there, and I will put it here. There we go. All right. So that's for the position size calculator. All right. Just gains 2 subs in a minute. Yeah, I honestly, I could care less about the subs. People want to do it, great. How do you measure your stuff? What do you mean? How do I measure it, man? Yeah, what do you mean? How do I measure it? All right, no worries. We'll carry on. Okay, so that's GN, right? Show your, wait, how do I show my reaccumulation entries? The same way I take an accumulation entry. Just wait for the shakeout, right? Wait for the shakeout, and then once it breaks structure, play out of the reaccumulation. Do you have to download MT4 through web or through web on Mac? So you need the desktop one, right? So if you're on a Mac, you need to download it on the you need to download it to your desktop, not the web version. It won't work. At least I don't think it'll work with the web version. So yeah, you have to use the actual program on the computer, because essentially what you're doing is you're installing an AI into it. Yeah. Please show on chart, and do you trade all types of reaccumulation? Yeah, do I trade every single type of reaccumulation? Probably not. I mean, I'm only going to trade the ones that give me the shakeouts, right? So typically like a 1 and a 4 are going to give you the shakeout. The 2 and 3 aren't. So the PSC is for MT4 on computer. The PSC is for, or MT5. Yeah. It's for your desktop MT4, MT5. Yeah, you can't use it on the iPad. You can't use it. Yeah, I was going to ask, do you have a vid on how to download MT4 on Mac? Just go to so when you go, so I don't know about MetaTrader 4. I can tell you, let's see. I'll tell you right now. Let's go to, you got to go to all right, here it is right here. So go to MetaTrader 4 and click on that the Apple sign. If you got a Mac, you click on the Apple sign. So click it. It's gonna give you a DMG file. So yeah. There you go. There you go. Perfect. And you just download it through the Mac store. That's all it is, man. Yeah. You're just going to have the app. So this is even better than the MT5 one, because MT5, you have to run a DMG file to open it up. So, but yeah, just everything you do, just do it through the main site. So yeah. Yeah, you got it. I was going to, perfect. Okay, bro. I've never been able to do it before. Oh yeah. You got it, bro. I use it. I use an iPad to trade. Does the laptop make a significant difference? So, I mean, I can tell you this, like I have an iPad that when I'm on the go, I have an iPad Pro. So I'll use that to trade when I'm traveling. But I prefer my MacBook, because my MacBook allows me, it's easier for me to mark up charts. It's easier for me to use, one, I can use the position size calculator from the MacBook. I won't say I can't, because I do use my iPad, but I use my iPad. If you have Macs, right, you should know how to share your desktop. So you can actually remote into your desktop through your iPad. And that's what I'll do. Like I'll have my desktop open, and I can remote into my desktop and just use my MetaTrader that way. So that's typically what I'll use when I'm traveling through the iPad. But it's so much easier with the MacBook, because on the iPad, I mean, granted, on the iPad Pro, I have like a little keypad with a touchpad on it that I'll connect Bluetooth, and then it's okay. But if I'm just using my finger, yeah, no, it sucks. It sucks. You've never been able to do it before? Let's see. I'm on Mac and it says only available on iOS. What, MT4? Really? I didn't even look it up. Hold on. I'll be honest. Like I haven't used MetaTrader 4 in probably 2 years. I know I can guarantee you this, because I use MT5 all the time, because it has wine built into it. Hold on. Let's see. Let us see. Bear with me. So this is MetaTrader 5. So here's 4. Let's just see. What's it do? Open the App Store. Let's see. Oh, you're not going to see the App Store, but hold on. Not compatible with the see full list of compatible devices. All right, let's see. What are the compatible devices? Okay. So you need an M1 chip. You need an M1 chip Mac. So you can use it on your iOS devices, but it requires, for the Mac, it requires an, wait, hold on. Yeah. So you need Mac OS 11.0 or a Mac with an Apple M1 chip. So if you have an Intel chip, it's not going to work on MetaTrader 4. So, but now you can go, and maybe this is your chance to move on over to MetaTrader 5, because that's what I'll use, is MetaTrader 5. All right. This is what I use, MetaTrader 5. So actually, you know what? I wonder, hold on. This is the Mac OS right here. Hold on. Can you download through this? Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah. Just do that. Hold on. Yeah. Just download the MT4, download the operating system here. This is for the iOS device through the App Store. The X right here, just download this. This is your Mac OS. So, and I don't know if you can see, but it just downloaded right here, a DMG file, and then you just run the DMG file. So I am. And this is brought to you by the sponsors at MetaTrader 4 right here. So yeah, that's how you run it though. So hold on, let me just cancel that, because I don't need that garbage on my shenanigans. But yeah, you just run it through there. So there you go. Yeah. So run it through the Mac OS here. So, and if you need a Windows one, right? Windows. If you want Linux, there's Linux, iOS, goofy Android. I don't know what the heck that is. What is that? Hold on. Let's see. What is that? That is, I don't know what that is. I don't know, man. The Huawei Apple guy, bro. That sounds like Chinese communist freaking shenanigans right there. That's like you open that up and that you give them everything on your computer. All right. Yeah, worked for me, but giving me a resolution like an iPad. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, MT5 for me is pretty clean. I like MT5. So, okay. So say there's two reaccumulations or two redistros within the POI. How do you play it? There's two reaccumulations or two redistros. Man, I don't know. Mark, if you have an example on a chart, just post the chart and I'll kind of give you an example. Like, how would I play the reaccumulation? There's only one POI. So yeah, there's only one POI. Why do I use MT5 over MT4? So MT4, the last update MT4 had was, I think, in like 2003, and MT5 at least gets updated regularly. So MT5 also gives you a couple little extra things, like you have more charts. So like on MT5, I don't have all of the minute charts, but I can put like a 6-minute chart up. I can put like a 40-minute chart up. You can't do that on MT4. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit extra. There's a little, there's some things that I like on MT5 that MT4 just hasn't been upgraded to, and they never will. They're never going to upgrade MT4. So yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's good. All right. So GN, like, what am I waiting for on GN? So this is kind of what I was trying to talk to. If you guys were on Zach McDonald's Go Live, this is kind of what I was kind of looking at. So we know we're bullish, right? I mean, look at this thing. This is what you call a bullish market right here, right? Nothing about this is telling me, Mike, open up your MT5 and sell by market. Nothing about this is telling me to sell yet. And when I look at what just happened, let's go to a 30-minute, because I think 30 minutes is going to be a better view, right? So I'm not disputing one bit that this is a distribution, right? However, when you distribute and that distribution comes into prior demand, and then you have an accumulation with a reaccumulation, and now you're starting to show signs of distribution here. We've jumped our creek. And at this point, I'm expecting this to be an accumulation and us do this and confirm this as a reaccumulation. Like, I'm not anticipating this to be a sell at all. Now, what I was looking at this morning is I wanted us to trade maybe this like that into here so that I can catch this, because this is maintaining my order flow, right? I don't want us to trade below here. So I wanted us to come down here so that I can do this. And now we confirm larger reaccumulation, and we confirm this as a reaccumulation. And then, of course, let's just say we go like this right now. Well, this is my first point of interest to look for my next buy, right? And then I know that this is my leg. So can we come back maybe into this? Yeah, we can. So yeah. No. MT5, it doesn't have all of them, right? But you can do like an 8-minute, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it goes even. It goes like 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Then it goes like 25. I don't even know. I don't know. Like, when they picked what timeframes they were going to put in MT5, I really don't know how that selection process went, but I can guarantee you there was probably a lot of alcohol or bad fish, because nobody in their right mind would have done it the way they did it, but it's there. So, but also I have another call to be on if you want to know your thoughts on FOMC tomorrow in relation to gold. Dude, I'll be honest, man. Gold is just sideways. I don't really think gold. So I'll tell you this, like, I'm still looking for sells, but I'm not looking for sells anywhere on gold. I'm still looking, I'm still holding sells on silver. But man, when I look at gold, right? When I look at gold, short term, we're still bullish, right? I mean, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, we come. Yeah, I think, well, I don't even know if it's going to be this. Well, are you talking about this week's meeting minutes, or are you talking about the actual FOMC that we're going to get next week? Because next week is going to be the big one. Next week is the meeting minutes. Now, I don't think meeting minutes is going to get us our direction. I think next week when they actually release what they're doing with the interest rate, I think that's going to be the cornerstone. right? I think that's what's going to get us moving. But when we look, I mean, look at this. I honestly, so I made this, when did I do this? I did this, if you look down here, I did this May 18th, 2021, May 16th, whatever it was. May 2021 is when I did my last real markup on gold. And nothing has changed since May 2021, right? All of this is just noise. Like I honestly, you really could have just done this. We could have just done this right here and we would be fine. And we would just still be waiting for price to come back up into the area that I would want to sell from. That's it. You know, do I think this is going to continue up? Man, I mean, nothing here is maintaining, right? Like when we look at buys and sells, you know, you had this supply being held here. Well, we took that out. So, okay. And then what happened? Then price came back down. We made a new high and then we started breaking down, right? We started taking out some demand, but now we've just been sideways. Yeah, it is. This is why she is demoted and just sitting there on the secondary watch list for the better part of a year, you know? Dude, I honestly don't know. I mean, I would tell you this, if I was looking at this chart, the fact that we just did this, right? I'd be looking for a buy out of that. If I'm going to buy gold, it's going to be out of that. If I'm looking for a sell, I'd be looking for a sell up in that distro that I had marked out there from May 2021, right? That's it. There's nothing else I'd be looking at. You know, do I think we're going to do anything in here? I mean, no, I don't. I think can they come in here, reaccumulate to go higher? They can, but is it worth the risk for me? No. I think if at this point, anything worth the risk is going to be in this accumulation that has yet to be really mitigated. So yeah, demoted. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's my take on gold, man. You know, it is what it is though. So hopefully that helps. Anyway, on GN, just to finish up on GN real quick. You know, I am still looking for the buys and I am still anticipating that this become an overall reaccumulation. Now, if price, and this is something I'll be looking at, if price walks itself down tonight while I'm getting some beauty sleep, where I will be looking to endeavor, you got it, man. Have a good one, bro. Where I will be looking to endeavor on a GN buy will be out of this New York price action right here. So this is what it looks like on the 1 minute. I know it may not look like much, but this is what it looks like on the 1 minute. If we now dive deep into the abyss of the seconds time frame, this is what it looks like on the seconds time frame. So we have a 3 drive accumulation with a reaccumulation, right? With a reaccumulation. And I mean, here's a great example. So like if I was going to play a reaccumulation, you know, here's your reaccumulation, your 3 drives, right? You get your break. Clearly this is the move that breaks. So what would I be playing out of? You know, your 50, you're looking at the shakeout. So this is your shakeout. I'd be looking at the 50 or the 80, right? So anyway, this is where I got my money right here. So I'd be looking to see if we come into that. And, you know, if you go 5 second, you might get it a little cleaner. So on the 5 second chart, that's what it looks like right there. So, and yes, you've got a micro of a micro, right? If there's such thing as a super micro, that's your super micro. And if you go 1 second on GN, here's what she looks like. And that's where I'm going to be looking to play. So this is it. You know, hear me out. We go to line chart. Maybe it makes a little more sense, but you've got 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, and then this being your entire spring, right? And then we get the break, and you can see we never come back to mitigate 50% of this. This is 50% of the spring. Now, you know, if there was, you know, when somebody asked me the other day, like what's a kind of trade that you would just throw, like, you know, on a 200K account, what would you throw like $50 at? Right. And that's it right there. That's the one. That's the one. The 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3 spring. That's the one I'll throw $50 at, because you ain't got to risk much on this, right? On GN, this is a 1 pip stop. right? So you don't have to risk much on it. So yeah, I dove into it. I like it. I mean, I know from if you're just staring at this looks like garbage, right? But just like, what are the facts, right? Like, what do you see? What do you know, right? Well, we have trading range defined. We have a test, UA. We have another test. We have another test. And then we have our spring. We have our manipulation, right? So do we have a BOS? Yes. Was this the cause that shot GN to the moon all the way up into there? It sure was. This is where the last buy came in, right? So this is what they got to come back and mitigate. And the other thing that I really like about it is, what time did this happen? This happened in the heart of New York session before London close. So this is something I really like, right? This is the price action I really want to see. However, until we get there, right, I'm not going to be doing anything with it, because we are, what are we? We are 105 pips away from it. So, that screenshot's taken. It's thrown in my my journal. If I need to come back to it, it's there. But yeah, that's kind of what I got on GN. So, wait, you got your FTMO swing, and sometimes I set a limit or market execute, and it won't let me execute anything above one lot. Do you know why? Yes, sir. So let me introduce you to the world of leverage. So you don't have enough leverage, because an FTMO swing account, I believe, is a 1 to 30 leverage, correct? That's it. Welcome to my world. Now you can experience the same pain that I feel when I'm trying to take trades and I can't, because of the stupid margin requirement. So yeah, that's why. And that's why, honestly, I when people ask me, why don't I do the FTMO swing? Because that reason. It comes back to, is it worth it? Is it worth me holding this trade for 2 months on a half of a standard lot where I'm making, I don't know, $14 a day? Right. If you guys watch that node video that I did on Vapor Notes, and I'll give credit to Jake, right? Jake's the one that put me onto it. I'm making like $8 a day doing nothing, risking nothing on those Vapor nodes. So why am I going to do a swing account, pay all that money, deal with the time, right? And put that on the line for that. So yeah, you got to set 3 to 4 separate orders, and the order. Yep, exactly. Yep. It is. I'm telling you right now, 1 to 30 leverage is horrible. I've talked about it in the past. Like I trade a futures account through TD Ameritrade, and I have a 1 to 30 leverage with them. And the only thing I trade on that is it really, I have traded gold futures on it, not in a very long time, but I typically only trade the ES mini, which is the SPX, or I'll trade the YM, which is the Dow Jones, right? US 30 or SPX, but I can only take one trade at a time. That's it. One trade at a time. So you got 2 nodes going. Awesome, bro. Yeah. Listen, and if you watch that video, man, I like the financials that they have. Obviously, listen, this is like, if there's ever such a thing as called like as a venture capitalist in crypto, this is it, right? We're getting in pre-launch, you're getting in, at the very bottom, but what did I say? It was like, when I did the video yesterday or the day before, I think to get your node running, it was a $55 investment. Like if I were to tell you, hey man, I got this strong node that I want you guys, I really want you to look at, and it's going to cost you $55. And then 3 months later, the thing's at, $900, so for me, it's a worthy investment. Because if I lose I did more than the one node that I did, right? I actually have I have 2 nodes, but the other one I put a little more money in, but listen, I'm fully prepared to lose that money. And it's even the one at the lowest level is still paying you out $1 a day. So at $55 investment, you've made $30 back in your first month. Anytime you can get a 55-day ROI, I'll jump on that until the cows come home. You know what I mean? So have you set a limit on GN? So I have it set up in the PSC. Right. I have all the numbers, right? Because I did this this afternoon. I have the numbers set up in my position size calculator. I just haven't activated it yet. Partly one, because I wanted to see where we were going to be at during Asian. If we're still up here, right, by the time I go to bed tonight, yeah, I'm going to just double click on it and set it in, and it'll be live. But yeah. And if you guys don't know what the heck I'm talking about, if you go to that crypto channel that I dropped, I put it in there, man. It's a vapor node, and I'll just show you this one here. Hold on, let me just see. So I have this one here. So this thing's been up for like 24 hours. Hold on, let's see which one. Which MetaMask is this? All right, let me do this one. So you can see here, the one node I set up was, I think I did like $80. I put $80 in, which equated to at the time 1,802 VPND, and I'm making $1 a day. So I risked $80. I'm making $1 a day. I've already accrued in whatever time it's been up for 2 days. I've already accrued 34 and a half VPND. So for me, it's a no brainer. You know, this was a no brainer. So like I said, I give credit to Jake. He's the one that told me about it like last week. And I spent the weekend diving into it, looking at their treasury stuff. I did the video on it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just watch the video. It's pretty informative, but looking at all of what they've got their money in, how much money they've got invested in this. I mean, you could see this wallet that they have. I mean, yeah, 63 million is already established in it. So yeah, I definitely like it. Speaking of which, and I know I've been going all over the place tonight, but you guys know I crypto mine, right? And dude, the Ethereum, listen, the blocks that they're catching on the Ethereum network, I don't solo mine Ethereum, right? But I pool mine. And when you pull up, so this just happened today, and I mine on 2 miners. This happened today on 2 miners. Actually, hold on, let me go to it. This happened on 2 miners today, which is the pool that I mine Ethereum on. And when you come over here, so the typical block is like 2 to 3 Ethereum, right? Yeah. So you can see rewards 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Some miner in the pool ended up catching right here, a block 149.54 Ethereum. Right. So that's like a $480,000 block right there. That's what they mined. And they caught it with 39% luck. So obviously, like when you see 146%, so the typical luck is 100%. That's the average luck. So when you get like 5%, dude, that guy, that was like super lucky. Like if I was solo mining that, I get to that 5%, I immediately get my money and go and jump on a pool and start accruing, because the chances of you finding another pool in the next month are ludicrous. But 39% caught a 149. And 2 weeks ago, there was 2 blocks on Flypool that were like 300 Ethereum. So I just wanted to, share that with you, because I was like, when I saw that, I was like, damn, because I just saw my earnings on my Ethereum pool, and it was through the roof. So, all right, hold on. Hey, next call. Yeah, no worries, man. Have a good one, bro. You got it, man. IBKR is good for you. What's IBKR, bro? Tell me. Hold on. IBKR futures trading. What is this? Let's see. So this is what I use, TD Ameritrade, and that's what I have to pay, $225. So they're actually, this is who they are, 85 cents. Do they allow US clients though? Where are they based out of? I can tell you the fact that they're already allowing all this, they're not going to be US based. So they're out of Connecticut. I'll look them up, man. Yeah, I'll look them up. I honestly, I've been with TD Ameritrade for so long that, I mean, I'm not, I'll tell you right now, this saving $1.50 or whatever it is, $1.60 isn't going to make me just jump over to them. I mean, TD Ameritrade gives me a lot of incentives because I actually use TD Bank as my business bank. So, but yeah, man, I'll give it a look. No worries, man. Okay. All right. So GN, we talked about GN. We talked about GU, NZD CAD, man, I'll be honest. Like this is kind of what my thought process was with NZD CAD, and we just didn't do it. So there was no trade, right? There was nothing for me to get into on US dollar Swiss franc. So US dollar Swiss franc, bro, this bastard. So I took a small loss on US dollar Swiss. Well, actually, no, I didn't take a loss this morning. No, wait, I did. I had a small entry that I took that I ended up losing. And then my other limit, I just canceled because it didn't trigger me in, but I didn't get filled, or I didn't put this limit back on here. So I had this limit on Friday from over that schematic to the left, and I didn't put this back in. And there's a couple of people that got into it. A couple of people didn't get into it after we accumulated. So you go lower time frame and you could see the accumulation in here off that 80%. She never came back in. She missed it by like 3 pipettes. So I'm not in this trade. And yeah, it was a very quick 1 to like 25, 1 to 23. Yeah, 1 to 23 during New York session. So what am I waiting for now? Yeah, I'm waiting for price to come back into this manipulation right here. That move, I want us to come back into that. So you can see I'm waiting here, right? That's where I'm waiting. And if we can get that, great. I'll be looking for price to come back into that area. All right. So that's US dollar Swiss franc. And again, like I'm bullish on it. Like there's no reason for me to be looking for sells on this because we can see the intent, right? We can just see this being a reaccumulation, us coming back in to mitigate, and then what do we have here, right? We have another accumulation. So we just confirmed the BOS. I want price to come here for the test. And then bye-bye we go. That's what I want to see, right? One of the reasons I didn't put this limit order back in, and let me just delete that because that's just going to make me really upset. Hold on. And you know what? Like I journaled it. I marked it out. And in reality, the reason I deleted it is because we never confirmed what I wanted price to do. So I didn't take it. Right. And it is what it is. All right. Okay. So we talked about CAD Chef not doing anything, Chef JPY, EG. All right. We talked about all those, ACAD, right? So like, what am I looking for ACAD? And on ACAD, kind of similar to NZD CAD, right? Like I just want to see the weakness come in, and you can kind of see like what do I want to play out of? We really, from a market cycle perspective, we've accumulated, we've reaccumulated. We are now in the process of potentially like reaccumulating. So I'm going to pay attention to what we do here, right? In this upper half, if we start to see signs of distribution, all right, maybe I'll give it a go, but nothing has changed in like the last 2 weeks. Like, what am I waiting on? I'm waiting on here, right? Here or here. That limit order is set, right? That's what I'm waiting on. And it's just a matter of just being patient with it and letting it do its thing. I talked about AJ and NJ, right? So like, what do I need to get into AJ and NJ now, right? So the bastards left me. I didn't want to come into here. So what I need to see now is I need to, at the very minimum, I want us to take out this, right? This is an accumulation, right? It's an inverse head and shoulders. So do I trade those? Heck no, I don't. But it's still evidence of buying, right? It's still evidence of a lower time frame accumulation. It's still evidence of a lower time frame reaccumulation. So at this point, this is our order flow, right? So if we do come back into this area here, right, and give me an accumulation, I'll take it. If we do something along the lines of, like right now, this is just stupid price action, right? It's telling me absolutely nothing. But if we do, let's just say we come in here and then we do this, well, now I know I'm going to be playing out of this because now this is maintaining my order flow, right? So, we're in a bullish market. I'm going to continue to look for buys. Unfortunately, you could see like I was looking down here because this was the extreme of this leg. And we decided to play into this, which just happened to be 50% of this move here. So it is what it is. Again, like finding the reason why price reacted is still important. But, I'm not going to be taking some of these trades, right? I'm not going to be able to get into some of them the way that the stop loss requirement or the risk is presenting itself. All right, hold on. Second. So AJ and NJ, same bias, right? Like, I wanted us to come in here. Yeah, we came into that area, right? So now, and you could see NJ's already shown us that break, right? We've broken just recently into this. So now what do I want to see? Well, we have our reaccumulation. This is kind of what is maintaining it. My two areas that I'm going to really focus in on are New York price action from this morning, just like Chef JPY, right? I'm going to be focusing what we do in this right here. So tonight, if we trade back in here and give an accumulation, yeah, that's something I'm going to take, right? And then of course, what do we have, right? We have this Asian price action, which I'm not too happy with. So can we sweep that low, grab the liquidity out of all of these weak-handed buyers, and then form something to go higher? Yes. And will I take it? Sure, because we're in a bullish market, right? All I need to see is evidence of buyers coming into the market, and I'll be fine with it. All right. I'm actually just going to throw an alert here. All right. We talked about UJ, talked about CADJ, AU we talked about as well. I think that's it. Oh, we talked about GJ, right? You got it, man. Absolutely, dude. Have a good one. So let's talk about indices, right? So indices, I don't even know if I'm still in this cell. Hold on. Am I still in the cell? I am. Wow. I am still in the cell. So I took a sell today on US 30 out of here. So it was just out of this distro right here. So this is the distro I took, and that was the entry. And, as soon as I saw this, I just reduced my risk. We had a distribution right at market open, and I was fully prepared to set a limit order off of it. But because SPX, and at the same point, right, SPX here did not break the low, and you'll see, let's just go 1 minute. So because SPX here at the time, and this was what we were seeing, this was pre-market, this is the distribution that US 30 had, because SPX did not make that low, I deleted my limit order on US 30 up here, right? So like what I told everybody that I was trading with, hey, I'm deleting my order, but I will play a distribution, right? So SPX ends up making the low, right? And when we make the low, right, what do we see? Well, we have a distribution, right? This is a distribution. We are seeing the weakness. Now we have a distribution here as well. So this is something I'll be paying attention to tomorrow morning, as long as we make a new low. If we make a new low during the night, during London, this is the area that I'm going to be looking, specifically this push right here. Right. I am still continuing to look for shorts on SPX and US 30. From a bigger picture, right, we are stuck here. Now, this is what I was looking at for today. This morning I woke up, I was like, all right, we're somewhere in this area here. I really wanted us to trade into this, right? If you guys, this is something that I told everybody in my group, if you really want some decent price action, I would look at Friday's price action. I would look at, so I'm in these two cells up here, right? I'm in these two cells up here. Definitely look into those price actions there. But realistically, if you have the seconds time frame, this gave 3 really decent entries right in here. If you have the seconds time frame, right? And this was the area right here that I wanted to get into. All right, this is what I wanted to trade into this morning, but SPX had some other ideas. Yeah. So I would definitely pay attention to that. If you want to look at what the price action really gave, it did give some decent entries. It gave 2 that I would have at least taken. I just wasn't trading on Friday. So now what do I want to see? Like I said, I want to see this give us the confirmation. If the other option that we have is we do something like this, right? We get the manipulation. We have a trading range. Can we do that? and then the break, absolutely. And if we do that, I will be taking a mitigation to then confirm this as a redistribution. So if I get into entry number one and we confirm doing this, then I'm going to be looking for entry number two out of the mitigation of that, right? And I'll partial out when we get down to here. So that's kind of how I'm going to play it. Yeah. As soon as it uploads, man. As soon as it uploads, I'll post it. No worries, man. Silver, silver, bro. Yeah. So silver, I'm still holding the silver cells, but we're just, I wanted to trade into this, right? This is where I wanted us to trade into. We came into there, right? But damn, it didn't give me any entries. It didn't give me anything that I wanted to play, right? And it left Asian highs. So you could kind of see this morning, what did I do? I just set my alert here. Oh, hold on. I set my alert down here. So when price gives me something there, and it looks like it just gave a really clean accumulation during New York, which is not very happy about. Hold on. What did it do? I didn't even see it this morning, just because I'm not trying to trade metals, especially with the whole Russia thing going on. Man, that is a very clean type one. That is a very clean type one. They're in New York, right at equities open. This is the first 30 minutes of equities open. That the blue box is the first 2 hours of equities trading, but where did she come into? Let me just see. What did she come back to mitigate? That. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to hold. Did it break the redistro? Which redistro are you talking about? Talking about which one? This one here? It might have, but just remember, like, I'm not looking for price to mitigate the redistro, right? I'm looking for price to mitigate this, right? Because we broke. This is what we engulfed, right? So I'm looking for this mitigation, not that mitigation. This was just the area that I wanted us to do it in. So yeah. Like for me, I don't mind if it trades above this, right? Because I know that this is where supply came in, but what I ideally want to see is, I want to see us, where is that? Like this, right? I want to see us, do we come back to mitigate, So can we still come up into that? Absolutely. But I'll be honest, like fundamentally, I told myself this week when I was doing my prep work that I really wasn't going to be focused on metals. Not with, there's a couple of things going on with metals, right? Not only is there a risk off sentiment because of the whole, Russia being on the brink of war with Ukraine, and, we'll see what happens with that. But also, if the Fed does increase interest rates, we're going to see the metal markets go crazy, because that's going to greatly affect the 10-year Treasury note. That's going to greatly affect not only the 10-year, but I think also like the 3 and the 5. If I remember, I got to look at my notes. What really gives correlation with the dollar? I'm sorry, with gold and silver and the metals. But I know definitely the T note does. So, and the T note definitively is going to be, or definitely is going to be affected if the interest rates increase. So that's kind of what I wanted to just stay clear of metals, not knowing what we're going to get out of it. But yeah, I mean, pretty much that's everything I'm looking at for the week. Like I said, last week, the big plays I had were UChef, GN, Chef JPY, and then the SPX one. I took 6 total trades, lost one was a break even, The loss was GJ. I tried buying it, swept the stop loss, and then ended up going for like 150 pips. And then, the other ones I've taken partials and secured some profits out of. So it was a pretty decent day. And the 4 winners all came on Thursday. Right. So that's why for me, I make sure that I'm at my office, in my desk, at my command center here on Thursdays during New York session. I get up a little early too, just to make sure I'm ready for whatever the charts want to throw at me. But that's pretty much it. That's everything I'm looking at. If you guys have any other questions, we'll knock them out. If not, it's, we've been on here like 2.5 hours. So BTC, listen, BTC is looking pretty damn good. BTC is looking pretty darn good. So we've got it. Listen, what do we do? Right. We came into, and I'm still not ready. I am still not ready to call the bottom. Right. Because like I said last week, until we trade above here, I don't think we're out of the woodwork. Right. Do I think we could, eventually we're going to have to come back and mitigate this, you know what I mean? But ideally I'd like to see this like that. Right. That's what I want to see. But I'll tell you what, BTC's got a nice little accumulation here. We're in prior demand, the reaccumulation. And I'll tell you right now, this is going to be it right here. Can we trade above like the 46K mark? But yeah, listen, we've got a really, really clean. What are interest rates? Nothing. They're going to do absolutely nothing to BTC. Yeah. We're not going to see anything. Do we break the high? We do break the high. Look at this. Anybody want to take a little wager with me to see if this thing comes into exactly, I think it comes right into the 50% of this push. Hold on. Let's see. Yes, it does. Does it move inversely to DXY? No, it does not. Nope. BTC can be bullish and the dollar could be bullish and this thing could still go up. Yeah. It's not weighted heavily on the dollar index at all. So yeah, I do like this. And I think the entire move too. What did it come into the entire move? Let's see. What did it come into? Oh man, I missed I bet you if I find the full volume candle, it came into the full volume candle though. I can guarantee, I don't know what it would be like. Maybe let's see, maybe like a 85 minute. Let's just see. At this point, it's oh no, we're way above that. Let's see, what are we at? So let's go 500. 500. Let's go 485, 455, 430. No, I think we got to go up. Yeah, I think we got to go up. So 555, 545. All right, I'll be here all night trying to find it. Anyway, it's no biggie. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I like what we got here. And yeah, we got some nice divergence. Yeah. Yeah. I was looking over the weekend. I actually saw this and I was actually going to margin trade it, but I had the alert here and we never broke. So had we broken, I would have taken it out of here. But I do like what BTC is doing. I think this is only going to be short. It's not like, I don't think we're going to 60K from here. I think we've got a lot of work to kind of put into this. The last bit on the 5-minute looks like distro. 5-minute. You talking about this right here? Well, what makes that look like a distro? I know that 640. Oh, let's see, bro. Let's see. Let us see. 640. 640. Maybe on a different feed, bro. Definitely not on this one. Not on Bitfinex. Not on Bitfinex, bro. Yeah. But No, nowhere in the 600s. We're going to be lower than that. Yeah, we're going to be, maybe like 495. Nope, got to be lower than that. 420, 395. Oh man, I'm gonna post this on my Instagram when I find the damn thing. 385 now. Yeah, I mean we may not have a candle. Current price. Talking about this. That. But what what makes it look like a distro? I mean, I guess you could say it's a distro. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's going to be a reaccumulation though. I'd say you're going to get maybe that, and then this, like that. Yeah, just look at your market cycle, right? For me, there's no reason for it to distribute here because this distribution was clearly a reason to accumulate in prior demand. So accumulation, I'd be expecting a reaccumulation here. Yeah. All right, bro. Have a good one, man. And then what's this thing done? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. So, right, you can leverage Ethereum and BTC, right? They're comparable assets. So you just come over here and give old BTC a look, right? Give old BTC a look, and you could see the divergence between them. So, yeah, I'm gonna. Damn, I like this Ethereum push right here, man. Oh, look at this, man. So we've got our spring. She just missed it again, man. She just missed it again. I'll tell you what, that's why I have a protection plan on my phone, because if I would have had this limit order sitting right here like that, I'd been pissed. So, oh well. Alrighty, folks. So listen, up if it breaks below now, then wait. That manipulation up, if it breaks below now, then yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, man. I'm not margin trading it, so I could care less what it's doing on these lower time frames. I mean, what am I waiting for? I'm realistically just waiting for us to break this high, right? And then we have a completed market cycle. And I'll be honest, like we break this high, we're going to take this high up here. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, listen, thanks for hopping on. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully you got your guys' questions answered. And if you have anything else, hit me up in the Discord or on Instagram. So I actually may do a crypto set. No, you know what? I take it back. Never mind. I can't. I'm going to be at volleyball. So enjoy. Thanks for hopping on, and I'll catch everybody later, man. Enjoy the weekend.